Welcome to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Welcome to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Is it Groundhog's Day or something? Well, in fact, it is. It may be August, but every day in Punxsutawney is Groundhog's Day because this is the place where they pull that groundhog out to see if it's afraid of its shadow every year to see if we're gonna get 6 more weeks of winter, and that groundhog is named Punxsutawney Phil. Now, they did not film the movie Groundhog's Day here in Punxsutawney, but Allie's a big fan of that movie. And so we've come here to the Punxsutawney Civic Center. You can see the police station just over there because supposedly this is where Punxsutawney Phil lives, somewhere here near the library, all year round. I'm looking for Phil. I'm looking everywhere. We've been working our way through the mountains of Pennsylvania on our way to Punxsutawney. A lot of Amish buggies out there today because it is a Sunday. Look here, here's our first groundhog. We got a 1977 bronze statue of Punxsutawney Phil. We're not after bronze groundhogs. We want to see the real deal. And oh, I think we found him. Not this giant fiberglass groundhog, but right in here, right inside Phil's Burrow. Oh my gosh, I have got to see Punxsutawney Phil. Wait a minute, there's not just one groundhog in here. There's 3 groundhogs sleeping in here. Oh, that one's waking up. Which one is Punxsutawney Phil? Allie's making so many little noises like, oh, he's so cute. How do we know which one is Phil? Look at that. He's got his whole burrow in there. There are little fake trees. He's got some food and water bowls. There's little murals on the backdrop there. And who knew Punxsutawney Phil has a family? Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
You're seeing Punxsutawney Phil. You want to pick him up and get bit by him?
Yeah. I want to drive in the truck with him.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what in the Punxsutawney we are talking about when it comes to Punxsutawney Phil, here in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, which by the way was founded in the early 19th century, that's the 1800s, the German immigrants coming to this region, which back then was a coal mining and brick making region, supposedly brought with them the tradition that you could pull a badger or a hedgehog out of the ground on a certain day and predict whether or not you would get more winter. Now apparently because they couldn't find a badger or a hedgehog here in the Allegheny Plateau, in 1887 the editor of the Punxsutawney Spirit, the local newspaper, and here you can see the groundhog holding it, chose the next best thing, the American woodchuck or groundhog. He pulled one out of the forest presumably, named him Phil. Some people say after a local whiskey, some people say after Philip of Macedon, just to give him a grandiose name. And every year on February 2nd, they would pull Phil out of his den, and if he sees his shadow and gets scared and goes back in, it means you're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. No shadow means you're gonna have an early spring. Now, since 1887, Phil here has only got it right about 30 to 40% of the time, so he's really not that great of a weather prophet, but that's all right. The ceremony is cute. It's still a big deal. In fact, from what I understand, it is now Punxsutawney's main industry, the tourism surrounding Groundhog's Day and Punxsutawney Phil. And as we'll see in a minute, everywhere you look in this town, on any day of the year, it is Groundhog's Day. Look at that, you got a giant fiberglass groundhog over there playing baseball, a giant baseball playing Phil. Here we've got the statue of Phil. Like I said, this town really leans into it. Earlier, when we first pulled into town, right over there by the sheets, there was a big fiberglass Phil cooking breakfast, and now actually, just over here in front of the fire department, check out Fireman Phil over here. Look at this. He's holding a little baby. He must be rescuing that little baby from a fire. Dude, there's Phil everywhere. Now, apparently, the name Punxsutawney is of Native American origin. It's supposed to be a Lenape word meaning town of the sandflies or mosquito town. Maybe they should revise it and name it something else, because this is 100% groundhog town now. Right over here in front of Phil's Burrow, where you have another Phil painted on the ground, you've got Mayor Phil over here. Look at this, and it says, the weather capital of the world, February 2nd, Groundhog's Day. Oh, I just noticed these statues have little titles. This one says Village. We're in the village of Punxsutawney. Now, the weird thing, and kind of the awesome thing, is that supposedly there has only ever been one Phil. The town would have you believe that since 1887, they have been pulling out the same groundhog every year, and one of these in Phil's Burrow is it. Weird. Now, groundhogs only live 6 to 8 years, so there's probably been around 25 Punxsutawney Phils, so 25 different animals, but I love that they keep the legend strong, that there's only one sort of mystical Punxsutawney Phil. He reappears every year on February 2nd. The rest of the year, he's just chilling over here in his burrow with his harem. Look at this right here on the Fun Phil Facts board. It says most groundhogs live about 6 to 8 years. Like I was saying, Punxsy Phil gets a drink of magic elixir each year that gives him 7 more years. He is over 100. Oh, and his favorite meal is dandelion leaves. Allie's just pointing out to me that in the library there's like a little wooden statue of the mayor holding up Punxsutawney Phil for the ceremony. And you would think, I always heard the legend was if the groundhog comes out of its hole or out of its burrow over here and then runs back in 6 more weeks of winter. So you would think they actually would have the ceremony here at Phil's burrow, right in the heart of downtown Punxsutawney. But no, what they do is they actually go up on a nearby hill called Gobbler's Knob, and you can see right here they're gonna have a groundhog picnic up there on Saturday, September 9th, if you're in the area. And that is where they perform this ceremony. We're gonna see if we can find out where Gobbler's Knob is in a minute here, but look at this. I love that they have a little map right here of Punxsutawney. There's even an app over here for Punxsutawney. Ooh, and a nice bench. Look at that, sit and rest. Don't mind if I do. Okay, look at that, there's the legend right there. Just gonna take one last peek at Phil because he's absolutely adorable. He and all his family. But really, that is not gonna be our last glimpse of a Phil because there are Phils all over this town. Look at Officer Phil. Look at this, right here in the parking lot is a old station wagon decorated for groundhog lanes. Let's cruise up to the little downtown and see if we can find even more groundhogs. All right, before we head up and try to find Gobbler's Knob, I just wanted to come back downtown over here and do a little more groundhog hunting. Look at this carved wooden Phil right here, coming out of his burrow with the funniest looking face I have ever seen. Over here, you got an insurance office with a giant Phil in the window. Look at this guy right here. This is the most popular Phil I've heard of since my grandfather passed away. He was very popular in Anaheim, although as far as I know, there were no statues and carvings of him. Oh my gosh, Allie, I think we found the groundhog mecca. Look at this over here, the Punxsutawney Area Chamber of Commerce and Phil's official souvenir shop. Blasting some music out here. Look at that, got Phil dressed up almost like Abraham Lincoln. There's another Phil carving in that window. Of course, a big old Phil over here wearing his Phil-themed beanie. Even a little diorama in the window of Gobbler's Knob and the ceremony. Oh my gosh, just from the window, which I'm surprised this place is open. It's Sunday, but it is indeed open. There was so much Phil merch. There's so much more Phil to see than I thought there'd be. All right, let's follow the groundhog tracks inside. Oh my gosh, there is so much Groundhog Day merchandise. Look at this, there's a Phil lamp, there's a press penny machine, there is wine bottle stoppers, Phil art everywhere. This is amazing. Oh my gosh, they have Groundhog Day paper plates over here. Allie noticed they had a bunch of postcards for all of the different Phil statues. There's one playing the bagpipes, there's one that says Phil, my prescription. Look how many t-shirts there are to choose from. Oh my gosh. It's Mr. G, the groundhog. We might need one of these. We might need one of these with a little Punxsutawney t-shirt on it, though. Oh my gosh, there's little groundhog mitts, groundhog slippers. Look at all the mugs over there. Here's some old school collectibles, not for sale. Some old school stuff. Oh, look at Phil's burrow with Sunny and Shadow. 2 little groundhogs. There's a memory game, snow globes, banks, more plush, puppets, golf balls. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of Gobbler's Knob stickers. I need to get some of those pencils, buttons, pins. There's jewelry. There's pins and earrings over here. A lot of earrings. Wow. Amazing, dude. I love the name Gobbler's Knob. Oh my gosh, look at the trash can lid. That is my favorite thing so far. I love it. No, inflatable Phil. Sweet. Oh, look at this. COVID Phil. Oh, look, you can get your little plastic top hat. Oh, Punxsy Phil's fan club. You gonna become a member? Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta put a pin over here. I gotta put a pin where I'm from. I cannot believe how many people from where I'm from have come to see Phil. A lot more from over here, though. Oh my gosh, look at that. People from all over the world. Ah, look, fantastic Phil's coloring book, Allie. Ooh, there's some stickers over here, notepads. A license plate. They got a bunch of Groundhog's Day children's book. They got this Groundhog's Day patch right here. Allie's gonna get this little book. I've been doing it wrong, right next to the Phil socks. There ain't no S in Groundhog Day. I just can't believe how much merchandise there is in here. Like every kind of merchandise I can possibly imagine, and then more. I love that. This makes me feel like the Randomland merch game, even at its height, was so weak. Phil has got a little bit of everything. You could theme your entire house to Groundhog Day now. I didn't even notice until we were leaving that they had a signed flag from Bill Murray, and there was even a little picture of Bill Murray visiting the gift shop and stuff like that. Kind of weird out in front of the store. They have local radio blasting, talking about a green bean dinner coming up and stuff like that. I love small town America. Small town America is my favorite. I genuinely didn't know there was this much hype around Groundhog Day and this much hype around Punxsutawney Phil. I mean, I grew up in Southern California. My grandparents' generation all moved to California from back east or the Midwest. You know, places that actually had winter. So I feel like Groundhog Day was always like a much bigger deal to them and my parents' generation, really, than my generation, other than the movie, of course. So to come out here to Punxsutawney and see just exactly how big of a deal it is and how much merch there is blowing my mind. Look at this though. Punks! Dude, as soon as you start driving around here, you start seeing Phils everywhere. It's a really neat little town. Lots of beautiful historic houses. There's a couple of museums here. I'd love to stay and explore it some more. I think at the moment we gotta make Gobbler's Knob the priority. I definitely don't wanna say I've been to Punxsutawney and never been up to Gobbler's Knob. All right, to get there, I think we gotta cruise this way, cross the river. Should be easy to find. It's right on Google Maps, Apple Maps. Easy peasy. All right, there we go. It's a sign, just 1.3 miles up this way. We can do this. I feel a little bit stupid because I think I've always said Groundhog's Day. Now I'm in Punxsutawney, now I know better. That's why I travel. I travel to learn. Oh, is this it? Oh no, that says half a mile ahead. All right, not quite, not quite. All right, we're up on top of the hill outside of town. I saw a sign that said Gobbler's Knob just ahead. Oh, I think this is it. I think this is it right here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the sign. Gobbler's Knob. Look at Punxsutawney Phil is on the gates. Who, by the way, everybody in town keeps calling Punxsy Phil for short. So maybe I should sound like a local, right? Hey, it's Punxsy Phil over there. Oh, dude, this is great. Dude, this is it. This is where the Groundhog Day ceremony happens. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really know what Gobbler's Knob is, at least in terms of this big building over here. There appears to be a nice park area, some people playing some games over that way, some kids running around. I do know Gobbler's Knob is called Gobbler's Knob because supposedly there were lots of wild turkeys up here that people used to hunt. So Gobbler's Knob, knob meaning hill, not knob in the British slang sense. Dude, and look at the size of the crowd here. February 2nd, 1997, the largest crowd ever at Gobbler's Knob. I thought that was like an old-timey 1800s picture. February 2nd, 1997, 35,000 people were up here. I wonder if that like coincides with the peak Bill Murray VHS rental era. All right, so there's things to see and do in Punxsutawney over there. Welcome to Gobbler's Knob. All this information about Groundhog Day, and you'll notice it's always spelled Groundhog Day. I had it all messed up in my brain. Here's how it got started, the story I told you. This provides a little more information. It says that a group of men from Punxsutawney used to gather each summer for a groundhog hunt and then switched the event to celebrate Candlemas Day, which is February 2nd, German tradition. You see here, Candlemas Day was left to a hedgehog, the prediction, and this animal is sort of similar to a hedgehog. But look at that. He became the mascot for the town pretty quickly. I love that it says Punxsutawney Phil, the world's oldest celebrity. They do admit that his predictions aren't great, but at least it is still magical and special because Punxsutawney Phil is very old. Feeling a little old myself these days. Wish they'd give me a little bit of elixir once a year, huh? All right, so there's the driveway right there with our beautiful Gobbler's Knob gate. There's that big building up there. Not sure what's in there. There is an open sign. Maybe we'll check it out in a minute. But the real feature, the headline event, happens slightly down the hill in this kind of natural amphitheater shaped area. Dude, that's where it happens. That's where the prediction happens. Can you believe it? We're at Gobbler's Knob. All right, before I go down there, before I go down to where the big celebration happens, I've got to see what's in this building. Ali already went inside long ago to get out of the hill. Look at this, got a little sign right here, the Lumber Heritage Region. Looks like a nice little garden area with some interpretive signage. Just notice the very large picnic shelter area behind the building. Oh, I see what it is. Look at this. Phil's Visitor Center and Gift Shop. Even more merch. Oh my goodness. Look at this. It's Phil's house. There's even a little keg up there. Phil's Elixir of Life. Look at this little fireplace and his little chair. Oh, you got Phil's Anatomy Adventure over here. Look at all these amazing historic photos. You got the coat and the top hat over here. This is like a little Phil museum. Oh, I didn't even notice this. Look at, you can crawl under Phil's house. Probably a little larger than the target audience for this. I'm going in on hands and knees. Oh, look at this. It's one of those zoo meerkat bubbles.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's some weird sound. Ah!
Oh, that's some weird acoustics in here, but you can get a groundhog's eye view of Phil's house. Oh my gosh, careful not to knock your brains out in this. Oh, that was considerably more painful than I thought it was gonna be. Look at all these scrolls Phil's got. Got quite a collection of books too. Oh, I could have just looked at the model right over here. Oh my gosh. Got to sign the Phil guest book. Maybe leave a donation. Look at all the Phil stuff. Awesome. There's an early photo of groundhog hunters and more merch. Holy cow. Look at all the little scarves right here. There's so much for kids to do in Punxsutawney. Oh wow, look at the murals in this room. Crazy. Got some Pennsylvania TV playing here. Look at this. Bands that play out here at Gobbler's Knob, and there's Phil right there, surrounded by the Groundhog Club notables. What is that, Steven Spielberg right there? Where's Bill Murray? You would think they would have put Bill Murray into the mural. Now, the movie was filmed over near Chicago, just someplace a little bit more urban, someplace a little bit more accessible. Punxsutawney's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And that's why it's even more surprising to me that this place is as popular as it is. I had no idea, dude. I'm blown away. Oh, that is cool. I need one of these. This is great. I love seeing all the historical stuff in here. This is really neat. Oh, look at the cane. That is so cool. Oh, look at that. 2 scrolls are taken up to the knob every year for Phil's prediction. Ah, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Vintage tourist slides, old tickets, old photographs and pamphlets. Look at this. Pair of groundhogs from 1949 down there. Sonic the Hedgehog meeting Punxsy Phil. This is awesome. Oh boy, my credit cards are in trouble. They have bricks they're going to put up on the stage. We are definitely getting a Justin and Allie Randomland Gobbler's Knob brick. I didn't even notice this right here. Look at the shadow catcher. Press the big button, pose against the wall, wait for the light to freeze your shadow. All right, well, here goes nothing. There I am. There's my shadow, kind of. Let's try this again. Allie's gonna do it this time so we can see what it looks like. Maybe I wasn't standing close enough to the wall. Okay, move quick. There it is. The shadow. Are you scared of it? 6 more weeks of winter. Okay, so we just found out there were 4 groundhogs in there. There was Phil and his wife and their 2 babies, Sunny and Shadow. And Sunny and Shadow were gonna go in here eventually. Some of the performances on the TV in here are hilarious. Some of the songs about Phil that are being performed at Gobbler's Knob. Dude, and then look at that. We got the brick. We bought it for you guys. So you've got something to visit, a little piece of Randomland up here. Okay, and now, I don't know how to open this door. What in the trap? Oh, all right. No one ever said I was smart. Okay, and now the big moment. The moment we ascend, or rather descend, to Gobbler's Knob itself. Dude, this is amazing. Amazing to think that the place I've seen on TV my whole life, every February 2nd, 1 is real, 2 is accessible and fun all year round. You can come up and actually see Punxsy Phil. And now we're gonna have our own brick up here on the stage itself. This is amazing. So this is where everybody gathers. I can't believe 35,000 people were out here at one point. That is incredible. This is the family section over yonder. I wonder what these little wood huts are. Maybe for the audio or something, who knows? This is amazing. Yesterday I cut myself shaving. I was like, I'm having the worst day ever. And now I'm having the best day ever. Because there it is. Gobbler's Knob. Something about this reminds me of the Bohemian Grove in California. Not that I would know, never been invited. Come on, guys. I like owls. I'd make a good Illuminati member. Wow. How unreal that this is real. I know that's a weird phrase there, but you get what I mean. Look at that. There's Phil's Burrow, the TV version. That's where they pull him out of every year. And we brought our own little Phil up here. He's official, Allie. Our little Phil is official. I love that. Yeah, Allie's gonna go up on stage and pull Phil out of the hole. There's no sign telling you not to. I think it's fair game. Oh, turns out Phil's burrow has a little lock on the door. Nobody wants Phil to be disturbed, but there he is, look at that. What do you think? We're gonna have an extra long winter or a short winter?
Winter.
Long winter?
Yeah.
All right, there's your official prediction. This is cool, I've ascended. I have come up the steps. Look at that, here's the podium right here that you see on TV. I love that it has this like brass top or tin top, some kind of metal top right there. Okay, I've ascended the steps. Look at this, we're up close and personal with the podium, with the little stump that they draw Phil out of every year. Here's Phil's door, up close and personal, his little nameplate, his little door. You see the little lock on there. Oh my gosh, even the little door handles are groundhogs. And I love that they have this little brass or metal top on here, tin top, whatever it is, for the podium every year. Oh, Allie's taking a little disposable pic. It's crazy that every Walmart still has disposable cameras. Oh yeah, and then look at this. Look at all the bricks up here. There's definitely still room if you guys want to come out and get a brick. Support Punxsutawney Phil up here. This is crazy. So here's the view that nobody ever sees. Here's the view from the platform. February 2nd to be a lot colder. It is warm out here. Phil didn't tell us about this kind of weather. It's funny, they call Punxsutawney the weather capital of the world, all because of a bunch of crazy coots out here and their weird German superstition about hedgehogs that got transformed into groundhogs, which I have been told are the same thing as woodchucks. And so that means I have a question for you, Phil. Tell me honestly, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
A woodchuck could chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
I don't understand. Okay, I'm gonna jump behind the podium with Phil here, get my photo taken by the beautiful Allie, and then we'll wrap things up. Oh, before we step down off the platform though, look at this. Allie just pointed this out to me. Punxsutawney Phil has got his own brick. And it's well-deserved, well-deserved. He's the oldest guy in the community. Oh, Allie's running. There's a bee right behind her. Off she goes. Now, the reason we're in the middle of the mountains up here in Pennsylvania is we are traveling between where we were down in Gettysburg and the Harrisburg area and up to Meadville, Pennsylvania, where my Uncle Mike lives. My Uncle Mike, who's been battling cancer for years and years now. You guys may remember I did a cross-country road trip to visit him a few years ago and we thought he was a goner. It's not in remission or anything, like he's still battling with the cancer, but the thing is my Uncle Mike is hardcore and the Grim Reaper is having a lot of trouble coming after him. So I am stoked to say he's still around and we are on our way to go pay him a call. It's just one of those giant fiberglass fills I really wanted to see. So maybe we'll see a couple more on the way out of town and then we're gonna hit the road. Bro, I never expected Gobbler's knob to be so fun. Look at her. She's in the hot car, but she's happy because there's no bees. All right, I thought to myself, if you ever come back to Punxsutawney, you don't want to have done everything, right? So I want to save seeing all the Phils for a future date. But there was one Phil I could not leave town without showing you. Or to be more precise, one Phyllis. Look at that. It's a Wendy's Punxsutawney Phyllis. What in the world? I love it. I had no idea there was so much to do in Punxsutawney. Anyway, okay, we're gonna leave town now. We're gonna drive straight to Meadville, through the mountains, through Amish country, but we will always treasure our time here with Punxsutawney Phil and old-fashioned Phyllis. Time to go pop in on my uncle, who by the way has absolutely no idea that I'm coming. All right, I made it all the way across the other half of the state back to Meadville, where I thought my van was fixed before, right? And then it broke down a couple days later for different reasons. I don't know if I'll film my uncle. We're just dropping in on him unexpectedly, and of course, it'll all depend on like, you know, what condition he's in at the moment. But maybe, we'll see. The important part is that we're here. Also, what if he's asleep? I hope he wakes up. Surprise!
Surprise, you gotta be shitting me.
You alive?
I'm alive.
I love you. Well, you're still strong enough to hurt me while you're hugging me. You see behind me?
I did. She'll get her turn.
Okay.
Tell me. How
Yeah.
are you, beautiful?
Hi, good.
All right, that was great. My uncle doesn't want to be an internet celebrity. We had a great time hanging out with him for a couple of hours and seeing what he's up to. He's making all these birdhouses and stuff, getting all the hugs in and everything like that. Talking about old times, new times, future times, current times. If only it was Groundhog's Day, we could do it all over again. But hey, it's YouTube. Just play the video again. All right, well, as you can imagine, I'm feeling all the feels. Leaving my uncle. We saw my cousin, his daughter, yesterday, so that was nice. My Uncle Mike is all right here. If I was ever able to afford living in 2 places at once, I would live down in Gettysburg, so I'd be a little closer. I could visit a little more often. As it is, I take the opportunities when I can get them. Last time I was here was with the van right before it broke down. You guys may remember this strange sculpture garden right here, and its accompanying fence down there. But if you want to see that, you'll have to go back in time and watch those old cross-country episodes from 2022. As for now, for today, we've done our duty. Thanks for hanging out with us in Punxsutawney. It's my first time ever going there. And who knows? We might end up there again. You never know where you're gonna turn up in Randomland. For now though, my friends, gotta send some pictures to my mom, and we've done our duty. It's time to go home and sleep well. See you next time. Look at that, there it is, sheets. I peed in the sheets.